Hello friends, welcome to Nina's Artsy Gallery. I'm Nina Dash and I am today demonstrating how to make a mosaic stepping stone. Many of my friends ask me how I make these mosaic artwork, and I do a lot of different things, but I think the simplest today to demonstrate is a stepping stone. Also, summer is here and everybody's working in their yards and in their gardens, and it's nice to have something colorful, something artistic in your garden to decorate it. So I thought I will show you how to make this for your garden. So let's start. So first thing first, let me talk about some tools that I'm going to be using. Very important, glasses, a pair of cool glasses. Okay. They might not be that cool, but we need it for protection, because when we are cutting, any small tiny chip can go in our eyes and we can really damage our eyes. So this is very important. You'll watch me wearing this when I'm cutting. Then gloves. Now I use the gloves for grouting, but you can use it for the whole time. It's up to you. Grouting, because it's really rough for your hands, so I try to use that time. And these are some tools here, I'll show you, that I use to put things in their place when they are far away or I need to adjust them. This is a cutter. Now this kind of a cutter, it's available, there's a little latch here. This is for ceramic. This is a ceramic cutter, and we usually cut plates with this. So now this is available in Lowe's, Home Depot, wherever you go for your shopping. Now there's various different kind of cutters, and I also use this wheeled cutter. Now this is for the glass. Now these wheels are sharp, to cut a glass, like a glass tile, for example, like this. Okay. This would be very thick. So these two tools are must when you're working on a mosaic project. And this is also available in Lowe's. Then, of course, some tiny things like a brush to clear off your space. I like to clean it up nicely before I start my space. Then a pair of scissors, knife. If you want a marker to draw your pattern, I usually don't, but it's up to you how you want to do it. And paper towel, water, and then a big jug of water, and also we need sponge in the end when we do grouting. So these are some essential things that we will need. We'll of course need grout, and for outdoor projects, grouting comes in the end. For the outdoor projects, it's very important to use a right kind of adhesive to lay your tiles down. Now for outdoors, because it's rain, it snows and everything, you need a very strong adhesive. So I use thinset. Thinset, here I have it in the cup, and it's available in any hardware store, Lowe's, Home Depot, wherever you want to go. So thinset is the one that I'm going to be using on this. I'm going to show you, using for this outdoor project. Anything you do outdoors, you have to use thinset as your adhesive. So, and of course, a big cup of coffee. All this helps. I keep my coffee and my water next to me, a little bit far away actually when I start cutting, because anything can drop in that. So first thing we do, we have this, I made this, it's heavy, it's tile at home. It was sitting in the rain, so it's slightly wet, but not to worry. But you can buy these tiles There's squares. It's hard to find the round one, so I made the round one at home. But you can also hold on one second. You can't see me. You can also make these round ones at home. There's a different technique which I'll talk sometime else. So, oh yes, very important. Protect your clothings. So, especially because it's a messy work. So I have my apron on here. So now we're gonna start putting the tiles on this piece, on the stepping stone. So let's mix it up. I need a smaller container. So I'll put a little bit of thinset in my little cup. This is a lot. It starts drying, so what I do is I mix little at a time, so as per my need, because sometimes I have to walk away from my work and go check on my dogs or do other stuff. Mix a little bit of water, not too much, okay? And mix it. So now it is little on the thin side. We want little thicker consistency. So I'm going to add a little bit more of the thinset in here. So we start laying our tiles down, and I'll tilt the camera a little bit more so you can see. I put some already, and so we mixed our thinset in a thick consistency, like a peanut butter consistency. So what we do, we take a little bit of a dog hair everywhere. So we take a tile, this piece, and put this thinset on this like a butter. Okay, give enough but not too much, but enough for you to stick, and then just lay it down. Press it down a little bit and make sure each piece get properly attached to the stepping stone that we are working on, because this part is so important. If you miss a spot and it's not properly attached to the base, then it will come out when we are doing our grouting, and we don't want that, because then when we do the grouting, it has to be properly dried and it should be strongly attached to the base. So I decided to go with some bright colors. I like bright colors in my garden, and this will be something I'm kind of thinking of sun, and I don't know what I'll come up with. Sometimes I plan my designs, sometimes I don't. Most of the times I don't. But you can think of a design if you want to make a sunflower, if you want to make a little ladybug, or whatever you feel like, then you can draw that on your piece. But first I do the borders. Once the borders are done, then I know how much space inside I need to cover. So that kind of helps me. That's why I do the borders first. In any project I do, I first do the borders. Now, people work differently. Some people start from the from the center, but then you don't I sometimes it may go out of the circumference of the circle, but I prefer to do it this way. It's up to you. um, I know some of the mosaic artists who do portraits, they start from eyes and then they build it up from on the face, but that's a completely different project. But for stepping stone, I would suggest do the borders first and keep it simple. Keep the pattern simple. What has happened during sometimes in my workshops, people pick a very complicated pattern that they see on my website or on my page and on my Facebook page, and then they say, oh, this is what we want to do. But I have spent a lot of years making this, almost now 8 years I'm doing it, so I can figure out a complicated pattern. But for beginners, this is for beginners. Keep it as simple as you can. And this is something kids can do. And oh, also I wanted to tell you, you can buy this from any art store, and they're like 3 different colors. I've used that in a separate stepping stone that I'll show you. And there's green, there's blue, there's white and black. And they're pre-cut glass tiles. It's in a wrong container. I'll show you the container. Yeah, this is the glass tile that I bought it from, I think, Michael's, AC Moore, somewhere, and they're small little tiny pre-cuts, because when you cut the glass tiles, it's dangerous, especially if you're doing it with your kids. You can cut your hands. I have cut my hands many times. So pre-cuts are nice and smooth. The edges are smooth, like what I'm using right now are pre-cuts, and this is very smooth edges. So it's safe for kids to do, especially right now when kids are bored at home and you want them to do some creative activity. This will be a great thing for their garden, and they can then use their creativity to make their own pattern. When I work with kids, I encourage them to come up with their pattern, because they have great creative minds at a young age, and I like to nourish that creativity. And so yeah, go ahead and do what I try. I'm doing it half half kind of yellow and now half orange. Then I'll see where I end up doing what I do. One thing, it takes time, it's tedious and it's time consuming, so you have to have patience in your hand. Take breaks if you want to. I like to sip my coffee in between my tiny breaks, or play with my dogs. So that's how I keep myself engaged. So it's otherwise it's hard to sit. It'll take you good an hour or so to cover this up. And sometimes I walk away from my pattern, and then it talks to me, and I think about a new pattern, like what I want to do. Sometimes, since I'm not sure what I'm doing, I like to walk away from my work and then think about it. So now you will see I put this on a lazy Susan, so I can easily turn it while working. You can do that too. Try to push it all the way out on the edge, so nicely everything is lined up. I check each piece is nicely attached, because once you lay the thinset on the tile and put it on this, it will start drying up. So if you need to change your pattern, you take it out immediately, but once it's dry, it's attached firmly on the base. So now I also found these beautiful marbles. The one side is flat and one side is rounded. So I thought of putting these two here. And I like to play around with my tiles and see what I'll come up with. And these are available in Hobby Lobby or again in Michael's. I just go for the Mosaic section, and there's so much to pick from. Sometimes I buy more than I need. But this is perfectly safe for kids, no sharp edges. Oh, I have these two. Now, you don't want anything sharp on your stepping stone. It makes sure you have everything which is smooth. I also have some like these, which says fennel, and you can put that on too. It's a little uneven, but make sure you put enough thinset on it, and make sure it's attached to the base nicely, and it'll stick up a little bit, which is fine. I like a little texture on my artworks in any ways. So yeah, I'll continue doing this. Okay, now I'm thinking of adding some tiles, which I'll cut. Now I use these plates, the plates that we use at home. Like this. Now cutting this can be little tricky, and I would say an adult to do this part. Otherwise, just if you're doing it with the kids, just stick to the pre-cut ones and don't cut because it has sharp edges. And so this is the tool that I'm going to use. I'll show you how to cut, and I just put a tiny bit, not all the way, not like this. It has to be this, and then do a press it hard enough. See, perfectly. So the trick is to just pinch it from the side, not do it all the way. Okay. So this is how I cut them, and hold on, this is kind of stuck here. Okay. So I'm trying to save the strawberry, and let's see if I can do that. I think I took it a little bit more. Take a little side, not the whole thing, otherwise it won't break. So you just tiny on the side. See how much open I have, and then you cut it. Okay, now you cut these small pieces. Make sure they're flat. Use the flatter part, not the sharp part. The sharp part will poke later on. So use the flatter part. So that's what I'm going to lay down. Now, one thing I also like is making sure my pieces are all it's all the same size. It's not too thick or too thin. Otherwise, it won't give a very even look. It's up to you. You can do thicker pieces, but then when you look at the surface in the end, it's not smooth. You know what I'm saying? So I'll go ahead and cut all these pieces and start laying them around it and see what pattern I can come up with. Okay, I'll pause it here. Hi, welcome back. Here in my last part, I showed you how to lay all your pieces down, and here we are almost done. Just few spots are left. I showed you how to break the plates, and then this is my pattern, and there's few places left that I'm going to just finish up, and then we are going to leave it for drying for some time, and then we'll do the grouting. Now grouting is very important part, but this is the crucial part, laying your pieces down, because if they are not properly set on the base, then when you're grouting, they can all come out, and because you're literally scrubbing on the grout on this and then scrubbing the tiles down. So it's very, very important that these pieces are laid down properly, and nothing is coming out. Couple of pieces came out while I was doing this, so I had to put it back again. And as you can see, this mess, this is very normal, and I have a lot of mess which I have to work with. I clean up in between, but still it creates a lot of mess, lot of small tiny pieces. So just be careful and be watchful of your hands, and their sharp edges. So and yeah, if you feel comfortable wearing the glasses, definitely wear them. I usually wear them while cutting my pieces, but then it keeps slipping, so sometimes I take it off. You can also wear gloves. I work better without gloves because I can hold the pieces comfortably. But for grouting, I will wear gloves, definitely, because it's really harsh on your hand. So I'm almost done. Just few more pieces. Then we will do the grouting. So I will show you the grouting on another piece, not on this piece, because I really like this to completely dry. So the thinset that we used is completely dry before we put the grout on top of it. But I'll show you another piece which is already done and it's ready to be grouted. It's actually one of my mushrooms that I made, which I recently sold in a botanical garden fair. And I have orders from Chicago that I'm working on. So yeah, they're very cute. They're made out of styrofoam. That's a very different technique, how to use styrofoam as a substrate for your mosaic art. Styrofoam can be a very good substrate because it's lightweight, and you know, when you are working with it, you know, it's especially for outdoor projects, it's especially very lightweight, and it's good because it's not going to disintegrate to the earth. So but there is a different technique to it which I can't cover in this one. So I'm trying to find a piece which will go into this tiny little place. Okay, I think most of my spots are completely covered, And the spaces that you see in between, if they're not 100% covered, it's okay. It's not a big deal because the grout will come there. If you want to put few, pieces here and there, you can put. I like to cover it as much as I can, but if it's not a big deal. It's actually fun to watch how the grout will change the appearance of this piece. Grout makes a big difference in your entire artwork. Sometimes it's good to think about the grout color. I like a darker grout color, so all these pieces will pop out, and especially because I pick very bright color tiles here. But if you wish to choose a lighter shade, it's fine, but I kind of contrast. So if I have a light pieces here, then I put the darker grout, or if I have a darker piece, I have to put a light grout. But my favorite is gray, or chocolate, or dark colors. So here, tiny places where you can put few marbles or some pieces. I can see some small pieces where I can fill it up. It's like a puzzle for me, which I'm trying to fill up as much as I can. And it's fun. I always, as a kid, enjoyed doing puzzles. So that's why I like Mosaic, because it's like small puzzle pieces that you are working on. And you're creating the puzzle too. So that sounds like a lot of fun to me. I can do this for hours and not get bored. Patience is one thing you definitely need for any mosaic project. Okay. I think this is good for now. And look at this. It's heavy. Okay. I think it's pretty much dry. I can show you how to do grout on this only. Ideally, I will say leave a couple of hours to dry. So I have the grout ready. Kind of, I have to add some water. I was doing another piece. So this is a charcoal color grout, easily available in Lowe's. I need a little bit more. Mix it with water and sometimes I do mix two different colors of grout if you're not happy with the color that you're mixing. Let's see. I'll add a little bit more water. Okay, one important thing is I'm gonna wear my gloves because it's really not good for your skin. It really dries up. Also wear your mask when you're working with the grout, because it's really not good for you to breathe that grout. I'm going to put a plastic sheet underneath because we're going to be wiping it down with water. Okay, now all my pieces are nicely glued on top of the stepping stone. I'm checking if in case any piece is loose, you can use a brush to shake off all the dust on it. I have these peaches which I love. Make sure all your pieces are properly glued and nothing is moving. So when you're grouting, they don't come off. So here is the grout mix. It has to be as thick as a peanut butter consistency. And move my hair out of the way. Now what we'll do is put the grout on top of it. You're thinking, what is she up to? We'll see in a minute. Spread the grout everywhere. Okay, spread it. You can use your hand also. I actually have a tool, but right now I can't find it, so I just smudge everywhere. All these gaps that you saw, it goes in that place. Looks messy, right? But you'll see in the end how beautiful it'll turn out. Oh, there's a piece that's came off. Okay. If something comes off tiny bit, just let it be, because you don't have time to fix that then, and just cover it up with the grout. It'll still look good. Here and there, if there's a little mistake, it's not a big deal. In the end, it'll look good. There's something else here. Go to the corners nicely. Cover it nicely so it is every tiny little place is covered with grout. I usually keep one of my days, grout days, and I make several pieces and then grout all of them on one day, because grouting is not my most favorite part. But hey, you got to do that to finish your project. There's a little bit more I need on this side. Cover it nicely. There's a little something in there. I've never heard any mosaic artist enjoying doing grouting. So, and same with me. It's kind of messy. Now I have a bucket full of water on the side, ready with a sponge that I am going to be using in a minute to complete this whole thing. Wipe this off. But before that, I just want to make sure that I've covered every little part on the sides, especially where there is a little bit left, right? And just sit, watch each space getting covered. Okay. How's it looking now? Not very good, right? But wait, just wait. Now I'm gonna grab my sponge, squeeze off all the water as much as I can. Just a wet sponge, and you wipe it. And suddenly see all the excess grout that was on top of it came out, and your piece is now looking much better. Okay. Okay. How is it looking now? Now I'm going to take a piece of paper towel and wipe it. You might want to wipe once or twice because the sponge also pulls the extra grout. I'm sorry, I was losing track of what I was doing. The extra grout. So the sponge tends to pull the extra grout. So you might want to just do it once, nicely wipe it, and then just wipe it with a paper towel. And this is how it will look in the end. Do go around, see if there is any spots left. I go back and cover it nicely so there's no spots that is left uncovered. All the gaps, because those are the places where the water, snow will go and start working. Although this is a cement based stepping stone, so you should be fine. Okay, looks good. Isn't it looking so beautiful? Look at this. Yay! I will use the brush to shake off the extra grout. You might need to wipe it again once it's dry. The extra little bit of grout. Now we're going to dry it, and I think in 24 hours or less than 24 hours this will be ready. Here's a beautiful stepping stone for your garden. Hope you enjoyed it. Please do comment and subscribe my channel. I'll be posting more videos of making different projects. Do subscribe my channel, and I will be posting more videos of making different projects. I have made some mushrooms from styrofoam. I'll show it to you. So this is my mushroom that I have worked on. I need to grout it, so I will show you how to make this, but let's go step by step, simple to complicated. This is a bit complicated because I use styrofoam as the base. So I created the substrate and then I made the piece. So yeah, do share, comment and like and subscribe my channel, and look forward to hear from you. What do you think about this piece? And if there is any question, please let me know, and I'll also add the links for all the tools and stuff below in this video. So hope you enjoyed it. Have a wonderful day. Happy gardening. Ta-da.